All right. Good afternoon or good evening, everyone that has joined our tea time session today. My name is Damaris Choti, and I work here at the African Studies Center, Michigan State University, as the coordinator for student and alumni programs. And tea time is one of our signature events that we facilitate through the African Studies Center. So it's a pleasure to see everyone that has joined already as we wait for others to join in. I want to welcome you in a very special way. Especially, I want to welcome our speaker for today, and I will go ahead and introduce him. Our speaker is Dr. Kondow, Dr. Mubarak Kondow, and Dr. Mubarak Kondow is a researcher at the Togolese Institute of Agronomic Research, and he oversees crop protection at the Agronomic Research Center of the Forest Zone of Togo. And this is one of the 4 regional centers operated by the center, the Togolese Institute of Agronomic Research Center, Institute actually. And this is a region where coffee and cocoa are mainly grown. So the topic of today's presentation is crop protection and food safety, challenges and prospects for sustainable agriculture. All of us really can agree that today's discussion comes at a critical time when the world is facing challenges in ensuring food safety and at the same time protecting our environment, because as you can imagine, the population is growing. It's not stopping. It's not reducing as much. The global population continues to grow. And it does feel like the use of synthetic chemicals in agriculture becomes kind of a universal need as a way to support crop productivity. But it also raises concerns in terms of human nutrition, because the more you continue using these synthetic chemicals, there is a risk in terms of their safety on the crops and what that means in the human and environmental health aspect of it. So today's talk, I feel it's very important because it's going to help us address an important question on how can we balance the need for effective pest control, at the same time do that responsibly as we are able to safeguard our ecosystems. So it's a really great pleasure to be able to have our speaker, Dr. Kondow, to spare his time. He's joining us from Togo, and he has spared his time to be able to lead the presentation for today. I want to welcome him. Already his screen is shared. Dr. Kondow, thank you so much for accepting to be part of the African Tea Time at Michigan State University. Feel free to say anything else that I didn't say about you, and welcome.
Okay, thank you, Damari. Thank you to the African Studies Center of MSU to give me this opportunity to present some of my works and the present challenges in crop protection. Okay, we will discuss about the topic entitled Crop Protection and Food Safety Challenges and Prospects for Sustainable Agriculture. So my name is Mubarak Kondow, and I am entomologist, a researcher at the Togolese Institute of Agronomic Research. For this presentation, for this presentation, we will first present the general context and current state of crop protection, and after that, we will talk the integrated pest management, mainly the principles, the components, and challenges, when we will detail biopesticides and some sustainable crop protection strategies. For the context, as you said, the world population is constantly growing, and from 2.2 billion in 1950, the number of inhabitants could reach 10 billion in 2050, according to the United Nations. We must therefore produce enough to feed everyone and ensure food security. This requires an intensification of agricultural production to meet food and nutritional needs. Today, chemical pesticides are widely used, and the use of these synthetic chemicals in agriculture is the main strategy producers use to control the pests in their farms. However, the abusive and unreasonable use of these products leads to harmful consequences on human and environmental health. For the environmental side, for an environmental perspective, the worrying effect is the contribution to climate change. And climate change affects the population of pests, like the increase of the number of their generation, the expansion of their geographic range, the desynchronization of insects and their natural enemies, and loss of synchrony with the host plant. The consequences on crops are the decline in crop resilience, loss of yields, and increase in human population vulnerability. So the research for alternative solutions become imperative. The question is how to produce a lot of healthy foods without too much environmental damage. So we need to find solution to climate change and food safety and food security. Therefore, we need smart agriculture to produce smart. Hence the concept of integrated pest management in crop protection. What is this concept? The US EPA defines IPM as an effective and environmentally sensitive approach to pest management that relies on a combination of common sense practices. The main goal of IPM is long-term prevention of pests or their damage through the management of the ecosystem. And IPM have six principles according to the FAO. We will see each of them and after the challenges of IPM. So the first principle of IPM is to identify the pest. That means that in the farm, it's not all the insects are all the insects which are harmful to the crop. So you need to know the pest which is harmful to your crop. That is the first principle of IPM, called the ID of the pest. The second principle is the prevention. And as the first line of pest control, IPM programs work to manage the crop to prevent pests from becoming a threat. In agricultural crop, this may mean using cultural methods such as rotating between different crops, selecting pest-resistant varieties, and planting pest-free rootstock. These control methods can be very effective, cost-efficient, and present little to no risk to people or the environment. The third method or principle of IPM is the monitoring. Through monitoring, you can determine if there are sufficient number of pests present to be concerned about damage. The monitoring can, if we can explain it, it's like you visit frequently your farm to see how the population of the pest is growing or is to evaluate the population rate of the pest to be able to see if you need to do an action or not. That is the third principle of IPM. The fourth and fifth principles of IPM are to choose the option and to take the action needed. Prevention should always be considered first. Using best management practices can be helpful in prevention. And if pesticides are deemed necessary, priority should be given to treatments that are highly targeted to the pest organism and to pesticides that are less toxic to human health and the environment. It means that after monitoring, you have many choices of the strategy you will use to fight against the pest. So the fifth principle is asking us to choose first the prevention strategy, and after look for the cultural strategies, physical or mechanical strategies, biological strategies, and if there is no way, you will choose chemical, but when you will choose chemical, you need to choose the least toxic to human health and the environment. That's the principle. And the last principle, or the sixth principle, is the evaluation, to evaluate the results of your methods. It's also done by monitoring, and monitoring after treatment is how you know if the treatment was effective or not. That's the last principle of IPM. And no further treatments are necessary unless monitoring suggests otherwise. Okay, after principle, we will see challenges of IPM. IPM have many challenges like pest resistance, climate change, higher pest pressure, invasive pest species, chemical restrictions, food safety requirements in domestic and export markets. And faced with these constraints, there is growing interest in biopesticides because biopesticides have many benefits, such as environmental and health benefits like reduced toxicity, biodegradable, reduced residue, supports biodiversity. And for the side of pest management benefits, we can list specificity of biopesticides, pest resistance management, and IPM because they are key components of IPM, allowing for effective pest control with reduced reliance on synthetic pesticides. Other benefits of biopesticides are sustainability, because biopesticides are a sustainable option for agriculture. They are derived from natural resources and help maintain a healthy ecosystem. They can be also cost effectiveness, and they can be produced locally. Now, we will see what are pesticides. The pesticide definition can be influenced by public perceptions, such as in the EU, biopesticides are defined as a form of pesticide based on microorganisms or natural products. In the US, the Environmental Protection Agency states that the pesticide includes naturally occurring pesticidal substances like biochemical pesticides, pesticidal microorganisms like microbial pesticides, and pesticidal substances produced by plants containing added genetic material, like or it is PIPs. But according to the FAO, we return that biopesticides is a generic term generally applied to a substance derived from nature, such as a microorganism or botanical or semiochemical that may be formulated and applied in a manner similar to conventional chemical pesticides, and that is normally used for short-term pest control. This is the internationally accepted definition of biopesticides. So the different categories of biopesticides, like we said just now, we have microbial, like fungi, bacteria, viruses, and bacteriophages. We have also biochemical and botanical, semi-chemicals, macrobial, and transgenic plant-incorporated protectants like BT cotton or BT corn. Here, we want to present some research we did. Uh, we, we have following the training on. Here, it is at the Michigan State University as part of the scientific exchanges program last year with the expertise of Stefan Jaronsky. We produce biopesticides based on microbial and especially Bovaria bassiana. This is, I just show this photo to show the whole team of fellows we were in that training. So we, after production of that microbial biopesticides, we test its effectiveness or its efficacy in mite control on coffee crop in the greenhouse. So we do 3 different treatments. One based on Bovaria bassiana biopesticide is microbial biopesticides. We also use a botanical biopesticides based on azadirachtin. We also use a synthetic chemical, and we have the 4th treatment without any product to be controlled. So we every day every week we collect data to see how the population of mites is the evolution of the population of mites in copy. And the photo under is the counting of mites in the lab. This work was facilitated by Memi and Regan. You can see on this photo. Now, we want to present some research on biopesticides we did in our country. We developed biopesticides based on local plants to control cocoa mirids, which are the most harmful insects in cocoa crop in Africa. The concept is that in Togo, cocoa is the 3rd largest agricultural export after cotton and coffee, and allows the survival of more than 30,000 households. But we notice that that products cocoa is very attacked by mirids, and on average between 2.5 and 3.1 billion CFR are lost each year due to that pest in Togo. And the generally methods producers use to control mirids in Togo and the other countries in Africa are based on chemical pesticides. So faced with the damage caused by mirids and with the aim of ensuring the sustainability of the cocoa sector in Togo, we focus our doctoral research on plant-based biopesticides. To do this study, we first developed a mass production of the pests in the to have a lot of population number of insects to allow us to do a test in the lab. After that, we also prepare many samples of biopesticides developed based on local plants. We did laboratory tests applying these different types of biopesticides on cocoa mirids, and we leave them with cocoa pods to feed. And after we collect mortality of these pests to see to compare the efficacy of the different extraction of biopesticides we produce. And the biopesticides which are effective or efficacious on mirids, we produce it and test their efficacy in the field. So we treat cocoa plants attacked by mirids with different preparation of biopesticides, and we evaluate the mortality and the damage of cocoa mirids after treatment. That allows us to finally develop a product based on some plants we combine to fight against mirids. And these products can have many effects on mirids, such as malformation, developmental disorder, repellent effects, anti-feeding effects, and lethal effects. Today, we are very happy to obtain a patent for this biopesticide from the African Intellectual Property Organization. But we need to harmonize or to promote the use of this biopesticide. So we wish to proceed to the formulation and registration of the product. To do so, further analyses are necessary. In the future, for a greater impact, our goal is to create a research and formulation unit for biopesticides, biostimulants, and biofertilizers in our institution as soon as we have obtained the necessary equipment and funding. Biopesticides are not always efficacious. They have also downsides, and some of them are learning curve, delayed action, and they are less stable. They are shorter. They have shorter persistence in the environment. They are more costly sometimes. They are not standalone, and they have many regulatory barriers. Although it may be possible in the coming decade, it is difficult, if not impossible, at present to systematically abandon synthetic chemicals in agriculture. So we try to work on another strategies of crop protection to manage a harmful pests in crops. So here it is the work we also did at Michigan State University with combining biopesticide and chemical pesticide as strategy to reduce pesticide residue in crop and food. The aim is that we need to produce safety, we need to produce quality foods, but we need also to control the yield and not to impact the environment. So we combine biopesticides and reduce the use of chemical pesticides. We said that chemical pesticides are very effective, but biopesticides can help to control, can also help to control pests. So we try to see if we reduce the use of pesticides and complete that part with biopesticides, we can control pests and maintain the yield, as well as if we use only pesticides in order to reduce the impact on the environment. So after the treatments, we do one treatment with the combination and the second treatment with only chemical pesticides. And after we evaluate the residue, pesticide residue in tomato to see if the strategy can allow to reduce pesticide residue in tomato. This work was done with the contribution of the expertise of one of our mentor called Wayne. We also did some work like that in Togo when we used biopesticides at the end of the development of crops like tomato and cabbage. And in the agroecological condition of Togo, we evaluated the effects of that strategy on pest damage on tomato and cabbage yields. And with satisfactory results, we are currently investigating the optimal timing for replacing chemical pesticides with biopesticides to improve profitability. It means like when we will replace biopesticides with chemical pesticide, at which step or at which development step of the plant we will do that replacing. So after talking about that stages, we want also to talk a little about regulation that is very essential and sustainable to control or to reduce pesticide use in agriculture. So to promote responsive and sustainable use of both chemical and biological pesticides, it's essential to evaluate and harmonize pesticides rules. This is why several countries are pooling their efforts to harmonize standards. In West Africa, for example, there is the West African Pesticide Registration Committee, which do that work. And the WAPREC receives support from international organizations like the World Bank, the AFC, as well as the regional bodies such as ECOWAS, SEALS, and the Institute of Sahel. AFC is a program to support African countries in meeting international food safety and trade standards. Here, we want to propose some solutions for better adoption of biopesticide, because it is the adoption which is not attained. That is why biopesticides are not used very generally. So if we can make biopesticides adopted by producers, we can increase the chance to use that products. And some of solutions are promote local production of biopesticides, encourage research and development, develop appropriate regulations, because regulations of chemicals are very rude. So if we want to apply that to biopesticide, it is a barrier. So we need to develop appropriate regulation for biopesticide and strengthen training and awareness campaigns to promote also public and private partnerships to strengthen national and international collaboration. For that point, I present here an idea of a solution on which we can work together for a sustainable solution of pest control using biopesticides combining integrated with the artificial intelligence. The idea is that if we can work together in the world to make available data on the characteristics of biopesticides developed worldwide and the characteristics of the target pest of these available biopesticides, then in the event of a pest infestation in a given environment, software could immediately suggest one or more potentially effective biopesticides against these exotic pests by analyzing the interactions between different elements, including agroecological and climatic factors. I try to transcript that idea like an illustration, and the principle is that artificial intelligence based software offers biopesticides for emergency use in the event of invasion of a pest in a new given geographical area based on the knowledge available on many biopesticides and the previous pests which are controlled by these previously biopesticides developed. So the thing is that nowadays in different geographical area, there are invasions of pests. And to find a solution, it takes many times. It can take 2 to 3 years before finding a solution. And at this time, 2 to 3 years, the methods mainly applied or used to control that invasive pest is synthetic chemicals. So we are proposing this solution which can be developed if we can work together. It's not only researchers or entomologists, it's everybody which will pool, we will all pool our efforts to work on this strategy to find solution against future invasive pests in all regions in the world. To end my presentation, please allow me to thank USDA for its contribution or support the scientific exchanges program we took part here last year. The University of Missouri and Michigan State University for technical parts and training as part of this program, and particularly some people, Lindsay, Wayne, Louise, Stefan, Mami, Jason, and Reagan. I cannot end without thanking also the African Studies Center. We can see on this picture the director and Isaac, and all of our colleagues, fellows, we took part on the training last year at Michigan State University. Thank you very much for following this presentation and the discussions. Your contributions and questions will allow us to improve our next presentations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mubarak, for this very insightful presentation. You've really given us a lot to think about regarding the aspect of protecting our crops. At the same time, being able to care for the environment as well as our own health. So I would admit that I had a lot of questions before you even started presenting, but you have done a very well presentation. Most of my questions have been answered, but please, the audience, feel free to type your question on the chat. And also, in a second, I'm gonna give you a chance to, you can raise your hand, you can unmute yourself and ask your questions or make a comment. But again, I say thank you so much, like for the wonderful presentation. It was really like very coherent, if I can say that. So I had a quick question as somebody who grows crops for my consumption, like very little, like a garden, pretty much. And sometimes I was very interested in this presentation just on a personal level because it's I want to grow organic vegetables. Typically, we do vegetables and sometimes we do corn, just little for food for the family. I struggle because in my mind, I'm telling myself I want to grow organic food, but sometimes you have to use like a pesticide, and you can see on the label sometimes it says organic. But you know, capitalism makes it very hard for you to even trust that this can be organic. You know, capitalism is for business, it's for profit. So you go to the store as a lay person that is not very informed. You're trying to buy a pesticide. It does say organic, but there's no trust at all for a lay person like me to be able to say, I really think it is. What would you comment? Maybe you don't even have an answer to that. Maybe that's deep. It's a whole system, a capitalism system, I would say. But what do you think you can advise somebody who is trying to grow but doesn't trust the system at all? Like doesn't trust this can be organic or can be bio, it's a biopesticide pretty much. It's a long question.
Okay, thank you, Damari. I hear your question and it's very interesting. Yes, that is why the regulation structures are built. So they have to control the registration of pesticide.
Mhm.
And yes, the regulators can classify
Mhm.
uh, the pesticides which are not organic in chemicals and the organic pesticides. So if a pesticide is homologated as organic, it's sure an organic pesticide. But I can advise you if you don't have many, if your crop is not very large, you can use some local plants. If you have that possibility to use that plant, we have many pesticide botanical plants. We have many plants which can work as repellent, repel to repel pests to control pests in your garden or in your crop. If you don't have a very large crop, you can do that strategy. I don't know if I answer your question.
Yes, you did. It's what I'm hearing is that I should be able to trust if it was already put on the market. Basically, it has gone through the regulations. So that's good to know. You know, I'm just being skeptical, that's all. But thank you so much for that. And feel free to unshare your screen. Dr.
Okay.
Mbarak, you can, yeah,
Okay.
unshare your screen.
Okay.
So I see a question on the chat from Aaron, and he's saying, what are the strategies? You can also, oh, you're you're trying to unshare the screen.
Okay. What are the strategies put in place to make farmers adopt the technologies since chemical pesticides are more effective than biological methods? The farmer is looking at maximizing harvest or increase yield in biological methods, and biological methods are not that effective. Okay, for this question, I think that we talk a little about that. That's why we are working on a strategy which in which we are not going to systematically refuse to the using of chemicals, because it is that type of products which are known, well known by producers. So we will develop strategies to allow them to use biological or botanical pesticide little by little, and if they discover their effects, they can adopt it. And in our presentation, we propose some solutions for adoption of biopesticides. It's not possible at our time now to systematically abandon the use of chemicals. So we need to work on strategies which can reduce the pesticide residue in our crop, and at the same time maintain the yield at a level we need.
I'm trying to mute some people here. Oh, thank you. I think they muted themselves. So thank you so much. Aaron, do you have any more questions or a follow-up, or you're good to go? Okay, I assume that, oh, he's good. Okay, thank you so much, Dr.
Okay,
Kondow, for that
yes,
response then.
please,
Any more questions from the audience? And you can
please.
and share your screen, Dr. Kondow. It's still shared, but it's not a problem, actually.
Okay,
Good, thank you so much. Oh, there's a
welcome.
hand up, and please, again, Antoine, is that how? I
Yeah, yeah,
forgot.
it's right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mubarak, for your
Welcome.
good presentation and best presentation. And I have only two questions. The first is, uh, do you well know the shelf life of your biopesticide? The first question is the shelf life, and the second is, what is the comparison of the economic parts about biopesticide and chemical?
Okay. Thank you, Antoine, for your questions. About
Okay.
our product we develop against a copper mirit. At this
Yeah,
time, we can conserve it for 6 months.
this month.
But
Okay.
as I said, we have to work to do more analysis in order to homologate or to registrate this pesticide. At this step, we are at the step of production, and we need to go to the formulation. For the
Yeah. Okay.
formulation, before the registration, we have to do some analysis and determine the real shelf life of the formulate product. The second question, at this time we evaluate we did the economic studies of our product, and it's 2 to 3 times less cost compared to biopesticides we have which are registered at this time in Togo. One of the biopesticides which are in the market is their cost. Biopesticides are very high or very expensive. That is one thing which doesn't allow producers to get this type of products to use in their farm. it's very expensive because the registration fees are very high and process are very, very complex. So biopesticides are not very large, are not very common on the market like synthetics. That are there are many reasons why biopesticides are less adopted than chemicals.
Okay.
I don't know if I respond to your questions.
Okay. I have
Thank you.
my last question is, please, is it easy for Togolese producer to produce your biopesticide?
Okay, thank you. We have two types of production. We have what we say traditional production,
Okay.
which producers can make easily, and the formulation they cannot do it. We are now looking for formulation, and producers cannot do it. Some producers doesn't have time to produce their own products. That is why we want to do the two types. At this time, we train some producers on how to produce their own biopesticide we develop to fight against mirrors. So they can do some type of biopesticides.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, Dr. Kondow, there is a question from
Yeah.
Matthew John, if you can read it, and it's on the chat.
Okay. What are the strategies put in place to make farmers adopt?
Oh, that's
No.
the second one
Okay.
from Matthew. Yes.
I'm a PhD student working on epidemiology and integrated pest management of fungal pathogens in Michigan vegetable crops. Here, fungicides application are strictly followed by growers, which is not mostly the case in Africa. Yeah. What are your thoughts about long-term crop protection without much dependence on fungicides in Africa crop production? Thank you. Thank you very much for this question. Indeed, in the case of Africa is not like the case of EU or US. There, the registration or regulation process are very strong. And in our continent, in Africa, the regulation process is not strong as like the other parts of the world. So the strict control of using of fungicides cannot be very high control in Africa. It's not only fungicide, it's for all the pesticides, insecticides, nematicides, and even herbicides. So there are many initiatives now in Africa to help for the strong regulation to stop hazardous pesticides. When I say pesticides, you can understand I'm talking about fungicides, insecticide, herbicide, and all the products the product we use to fight against pests and disease. So it's not only the case of fungicide. So we have to work very hard to make strong our regulation system in Africa. So to reduce the fake and hazardous pesticides in the market. It's at that way we can in some years become like some developed countries in where the regulation of pesticide is very strong. I don't know if it is your question.
Yeah, Matthew, if you have anything more to add or ask, just feel free to type, or you can unmute yourself and ask. But thank you so much. That was Wonderful response. Okay.
To add to your question, we also need to specialize some people in the application of each product. It's now we are beginning that strategy in our country. I don't know if it is the same thing for other countries of Africa, but if you specialize some people, this person is specialized on the application of fungicide, so he will have many training on how to apply, how to determine the fake or hazardous fungicides in the market. If you call him to apply fungicide in your farm, he is able to know if this pesticide or fungicide is not organic or chemical, it's a fake. So they have that kind of people will have a training to make well their work. At this time or today, everybody or all of producers make the application themselves in Africa. That's the situation. And in that situation, we cannot prevent toxicity by these pesticides. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I remember you in one of your points in terms of saying how this can be, how promoting the use of biopesticides can be, can be promoted. That is, I heard you say that strengthening training and awareness, and I feel that that's where your response is going. That it's not necessarily about even being available for use, but also how of using, because we remember there's family use, there's small scale farming use, there's large scale farming use. So it's different layers, and also there's training that needs to go alongside the availability of the biopesticides. And I really want to commend you for patenting your product, because I believe that's one way that we can still be able to make this available locally. Because if it's something that you have to import, for example, if it's something that is produced elsewhere and needs to be brought or be obtained in a specific place or regional country, then it's going to be expensive, and perhaps most people might not be able to use it. So those are really also very good signs that we're headed somewhere, because food safety is really a big problem, a big one. We need to produce more, as you said, but how safe? And how are we even able to do this? It's a challenge. It's a challenge everywhere in the world. Thank you. Is there anybody with a question or comment? Please feel free to raise your hand.
Damaris, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I was the one that asked the question.
Oh, is this
Yeah,
Matthew?
this
Yes,
is
please.
Matthew
Go
John.
ahead.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Mubarak, for your response and for the presentation as well. That's a wonderful presentation. Kudos.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I grew up in a farm in Nigeria, and my parents are farmers, so but I witnessed how fungicide are kind of been applied when I was growing up. And when I came to the US, it's quite different from what we have there. That's why I asked that question. Because, we in Africa, we kind of misuse the application of fungicide. Many of these fungicides that have been brought to Africa, they're very hazardous. A lot of them. Yeah. And the misuse or the misapplication of this fungicide is worrisome. So when we're trying to shift away from the use of this fungicide to biopesticide, or maybe trying to use the cultural method to, of course, safeguard our crops and all of that, I'm just wondering how the long-term advantage is going to be, because is it really sustainable, guys? We're shifting away from fungicide. Is this something that we can really do in Africa to increase our yield or safeguard our crops? I was just wondering, and when I saw this topic about this presentation, I was very much interested to really see what Mubarak is going to present, which he really did a very good job. But, I'm looking forward to an Africa where we can get certain things right with help of our leaders, get certain things right, and also look at the part of agriculture where crop protection is very important. And also, like you said, like they do in the EU, where you can protect the farmers, protect the crop as well, is very important. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you very much again for the presentation.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you. I don't see a hand up. I don't see a question on the chat. Just checking again. All right. Okay. So I then think that we can end it here. But again, thank you so, so much, Dr. Kondow. This was really a good presentation. And as I pointed out at the beginning, I was looking forward to it. I do facilitate tea times and I look forward to all presentations. And this is one of those that was really kind of personal because I usually worry about what we eat. As much as we can't control everything, it's good to have that knowledge and information. And it's also good to know that this type of research is done in Africa, and it's our hope that it continues. It becomes like a widespread where we are able to protect our environment to begin with and then protect ourselves, but at the same time be able to produce for the populations that we work with, that we are a part of. So I want to thank you so much again for that wonderful presentation and thank everybody who made time to be here today for this presentation. I know there are many of the participants here that are joining from Africa, as I can see, and I want to thank you for the sacrifice because I know it's a little late. For some of us, like for me here, it's 4 p.m., but I know some are joining at a time that is later for them. So thank you so much for making that sacrifice. I'm looking forward to engaging more. And maybe we can bring you back at some point because you're a part of a big research institute and give us more updates on what more research is happening and what have you come up with. So thank you so much. So we have another presentation coming up on is it November 13? It's a totally different topic. It's about education abroad. We are going to have a team, a panel of students that have participated in an education abroad program to Ghana, share from the US, and it's a reciprocal exchange program between US students and Ghanaian students that are training to become teachers. I will share a flyer with everybody that signed up for the event today. If you have time, we hope that you can join us. And also, if you want to present, if you feel that you can participate at the African Tea Time, I'm happy to share a form that you can complete and let us know if you have something that you need to present, and we allow you a platform. This presentation is being, it will be uploaded sometime next week, and I'll share a link as well with you so that you can share with your colleagues and friends and people that were not able to make it today. So other than that, thank you so much and look forward to engaging with you in the future. Thank you. And bye.
Okay, goodbye.
Yeah, bye. And nice meeting you,
Thank you. Thank you very
Antoine
much.
and Dr. Kondow. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Damari. Greetings to all
No,
the team of MSU and African Studies Center. Thank
we
you.
really thank you so much. This was very insightful. Very,
You're
very
welcome.
insightful. Yeah, I will
Thank
share
you.
the link after we upload the presentation because I think it should be shared widely. I know not everybody was able to make it or can be able to make it anyway. So that's why we record and share for educational purposes. So thank you. I
Okay,
look forward to seeing you.
we are waiting for the
So
link. Thank you.
thank you.
Goodbye.